Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia
Hold on.
What?
Liam, what day is it?
Sunday.
Well, don't the Eagles play next Sunday?
Huh?
Well, isn't it a bit pointless making it this Sunday?
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports with myself, Liam Jenkins, where, as you might have guessed, we go over everything that happened this week in Philadelphia sports. Again, but as you might have guessed, just a heads up that this series will now be moving to Saturday purely because the Eagles play on a Sunday and it will be utterly pointless bringing it out on a Sunday. So should have thought of that months ago, but beggars can't be choosers. Here we are. If you are new to this channel and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, it would mean the absolute world to me if you could. And before you make a comment about the hair, it's been a long week. We've had 3 live streams, we've had a bunch of videos, about 70,000 articles, and a stressful week of roster cuts. I'm allowed to look like a member of Westlife at least one day out of 7, alright? We're going to kick things off with the Philadelphia Eagles, who have had a chaotic week, and it is still raging on now. So filming this video is a total risk because we don't know what is going to happen. From being shut out against the New York Jets in the preseason finale to trimming their roster down from 90 all the way down to 53, it has been a week of ups, downs, and everything in between. But I did just want to say a quick thank you to anyone and everyone who has tuned into a stream, read an article, or watched any of our content here on Philly Sports Network. We've gone from one extreme of Jadeveon Clowney to another of LaShawn McCoy. There has been non-stop discussion, and now we can take a breath, step back, and watch it all unfold. Almost like you're watching the film the day after tomorrow, seeing the absolute chaos, but with some popcorn and without the added stress of, is my house going to be okay? I'm not going to dive too much into roster cuts, purely because there's going to be a big 10-minute video coming a little bit later today, so Sunday, going into every position, the decisions made, and the outlook for the 53-man roster. But there were some headlines to keep note of. The main one being, it does look like the end of the Clayton Thorson era already, which I know is heartbreaking. There's no more Clayton Thorson song. That in itself warrants an emotional send-off. Clayton Thorson, da 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 da. Clayton Thorson, da 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 da. Clayton. But the team have signed former Giants quarterback Kyle Letter to the practice squad, pretty much ending the chances of the Clayton Thorson experiment, which kind of is a bit of a shame. Like, he did show development as the season went on, but probably not enough to be brought back. Now, am I okay that Clayton Thorson is no longer on the team? It's okay, it's the song. We had a culture, we had a movement, and everyone loved him, and he's just gone, alright? I'm sick of it. I'll be fine. It's okay. But he will live on in our hearts forever, and I'll still stand true that anytime he scores a touchdown, the song will be played. But the most controversial decision of the entire cut-down process for me was choosing between Alex Singleton and T.J. Edwards. Now, it was T.J. Edwards, the undrafted free agent, who stuck onto the 53-man roster, but Singleton has apparently cleared waivers. But choosing between them was awful. It's like choosing between your favourite pizza topping and your favourite hoagie. See, I even said the word hoagie. I would have gone with Subway sandwich there, but I'm learning. But the Alex Singleton decision for me hit a little bit harder because I was standing that move ever since the second he signed with the team. The former CFL standout has now cleared waivers and he's bound to have attention elsewhere. Like, the Calgary Stampeders are going to come after him. The CFL would love to have their 2017 Defensive Player of the Year back in the fold. The question is he going to return to Canada or stick on a practice squad with the hopes of making the final 53? All it takes is one injury or one roster move and Singleton's back in the picture. We know what he brings on special teams. He showed that during preseason, but TJ Edwards just pipped him to the post in what was an absolute duel. In week 4 against the New York Jets, Singleton had 15 tackles. I believe Edwards had 10. It was a case of anything you can do, I can do better. It was back and forth. Anything Singleton did, Edwards would just ramp up and one-up him and challenge his fellow linebacker to do a little bit better. It was an incredible display of sporting prowess. If I was Harry Roseman and I could find a way to keep both players, maybe at the possible expense of Nate Jerry, then I certainly would. But the Eagles are lucky. If Singleton does want to find an NFL roster, he'll have no problem in doing so. If he wants to return to Canada, he will as well. Wide receiver was another position that got plenty of attention because Mac Hollins made the cut despite not really doing anything. He's sort of that kid at school that would do every exam half-assed. He wouldn't really try during the exam. He'd be late for homework, he'd show up late to lessons, and you'd try your hardest and you'd get a C. You're Greg Ward Jr. Matt Collins is a kid that comes in, copies your homework, does it wrong, changes his name, gets a B, but the teachers, they have that weird thing where the teacher's like best friends with his mum or something, and he ends up sailing through getting the best grades possible. It's a shame. Now, I know Matt Collins has special teams prowess, I know he was a 4-year special teams captain at UNC, and I know he played a perennial amount of special teams snaps during 2017. But for me, coming off that 227-yard rookie season, doing nothing in 2018 due to a phantom injury, and then missing the entire off-season in 2019, not just training camp, the majority of OTAs as well, comes in preseason, does very little with those opportunities, while Greg Ward and Marco Michel are both out there catching touchdowns, making things happen on those same looks. I would have gone the opposite direction, but the Eagles do have this precedent of protecting their draft picks. Look no further than offensive lineman Matt Pryor, who despite getting more flags in the opening ceremony of an Olympic Games this preseason, remains on the roster. He was a 5th round pick. It's only taken until now for Wendell Smallwood to get off the roster. Also, can we appreciate the audacity of Wendell Smallwood to stay in the vision and go to Washington? Or maybe the audacity of Washington to sign him. We know what's going to happen. It's going to be 3rd and 4. Game on the line. Smallwood's going to come into the Lincoln Financial Field with a chip on his shoulder, this angry running back, the team parted ways, and he's going to fumble. And he's going to fumble because that's what Wendellington of Smallwood does. Jalen Mills is still somehow on the roster. I know he's on the PUP list, but I don't think he's going to make his way back onto the depth chart anytime soon. The Eagles like protecting their draft investments, unless you're named Clayton Thorson. Not bitter about it. I'm not bitter. But you know why I will be okay about Thorson? Because you guys can get limited edition Philly Sports Network merchandise down in the description below. If you don't want that though, we do have the long sleeves. We do have this bright pink t-shirt which has got a mixed reaction. Some people love it, some people don't. But if you were in the live streams, if you want to have something, a piece of memorabilia to say, hey, I did this, these are extended time on sale until Monday. It was going to be Sunday. It's now Monday if you want one. Links in the description below. And there was also a shock player to make the roster. We can go across every position, but I'll save that for the super 10-minute video, the abridged version of last night's live stream. There were 2 predictions I had going into this week. One I've stood behind all off season like a man dying on Sam Bradford Hill. Can't relate to that one. And the others, I've fitted the jigsaw pieces together to form a beautiful memorial work of art and gave it to you, aka in articles, live streams, videos. The first one was that Stefan Wisniewski won't make the roster, and I'm not going to sit here and cheer or be that guy, because at the end of the day someone has lost his job and I would never root for that in any line of industry. But I thought the odds were incredibly long for Wisniewski to stick onto this roster, and again it's that tumble from grace. A former Super Bowl 52 starter gets demoted, then gets benched mid-2018, can't get a long-term extension in either of those seasons, comes back to Philadelphia on a 1-year deal, then gets pushed from his natural position of guard into centre because Halapoulivaati Vaitai, a right tackle, is now taking those snaps, and then he's sailing snaps so far high and wide, it's as if he was a human jugs machine. They were just flying left, right and centre. I've never seen sporadicness like it. So Wisniewski not making the roster, not great. But shout out to Nate Herbig, an undrafted free agent who's able to cling on to the end of that offensive line group. And then the big one, well, do you know what? The Clayton Thorson song may be dead and buried, but Rudy Ford has made the final 53, which means, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Rudy, 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 Rudy! The Eagles parted ways with Trey Sullivan and DeAndre Hall, 2 core special teamers who, without spoiling the intricate puzzle pieces of this 10-minute video, were core special teamers. They were integral to Dave Phipps' unit, and Rudy Ford has had a lot of career experience on special teams, a lot of success as well. Comes in, signed only last week, makes this team that fills the void left by Blake Countess that both Sullivan and Hall could neither do. But I think that sums up just about everything from the Eagles this last week. The fact is, we have got Eagles football next week. We are 1 week away, 7 days from now. This exact, well, not this exact time, but for me, it is. Eagles football will be taking place. Eagles, Redskins, week 1. We're going to have so much content for you. We are literally going to be shoving a kid into a candy store and just force feeding him, just lobbing sweets at him, just non-stop. Just like, you want some Haribo? You have them, like all of them. We're going to have a live stream preview, we're going to have breakdowns, we're going to have film rooms, we're going to have articles at phillysportsnetwork.com, and of course, podcasts, and so much more. But if you guys want to see any content in particular, let us know down in the comments below, because this is your channel as much as ours. Without you, there is no me, in a very loving sense. So if you want to see a certain type of content, let me know. We'll make it happen. On to the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm giving up hope at this point. They may have a little MVP of the bullpen in someone that wasn't really meant to be an MVP of the bullpen. But the fact is, they're now 7 games behind Washington, and they're 5-5 in their last 10. But the good news is, baby Bryce, we've got a baby Bryce Harper, so congratulations to Bryce Harper, who's now a father. And on the Flyers note, we have Flyers news. Claude Giroux, Super Captain Claude, has got a little baby as well. So congratulations to stars of their respective teams, 2 icons in the world of Philadelphia sports, or certainly soon to be fathers of newborn children. I'm a father too, to this channel and you guys, not in a weird way or a Venmo way, but more in just a, we'll leave the joke under the bridge. The Philadelphia Union, though, have clinched a playoff spot. Ooh. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't follow soccer, but this is absolutely the time to do it. Get down to the river and sell it out. Just join the Sons of Ben, show your support. The Union take on Atlanta United, who are second. They're breathing down their necks, and they stun them in a 3-1 win. The Union are going to the postseason, and what better way to kickstart 2019's autumn proceedings than with a Union playoff run? Is this finally the year the Union can go all the way and get their first bit of silverware as a soccer franchise? I don't know, but I'm rooting for it. But I did just want to say a massive thank you, guys, because this last year has been insane. The off-season has been a journey and a half. If we go back to, let's say, February, March time when it first started, I still had a second job. Since then, I've now been able to walk away from that. Philly Sports Network is my full-time job now, like running this business, running the channel, and giving daily content to you guys. We had daily content for a month throughout July, and I'm pretty sure I died a little bit. So you're welcome. But it's been a blast. Like, I've loved every single second of it, doing the film rooms, the draft analysis, the pre-draft rankings, the mock drafts, the 53 predictions, everything. It's been unreal, and the support you guys have shown has been next level. Like, I am so lucky to call you guys fans, or an audience, or readers, or viewers, or however you want to be called, LJers of this channel. It's incredible. Although I think a nickname could be LJ's Fortress because of LJ Fort. I'm going to leave that with you to think about, because that might be something there. We could be onto something. But genuinely, we're now heading into football season. It's my first one as a full-time self-employed writery person, beat writer, analysis, podcaster, man. But I won't be here without you guys. So again, whatever kind of content you want to see, let us know down in the comments. From myself, Liam Jenkins, be on the lookout for that 10-minute video breaking down the Eagles' 53-man roster and the practice squad. I leave no stone unturned. I'm like a really bad Indiana Jones. Make sure you're tuning in. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button. From myself, Liam Jenkins. I'll see you next time.